Good morning. If you're a morning person like I am, you say good morning. If you're not a morning person like my husband, who's a night owl, you say, bah. What's good about it? But for the rest of us, good morning. It's Wednesday, July 19th. Good morning, Mary. I hope you're having a good Wednesday too. I had a couple extra minutes this morning, so I must be timing things a little bit better. But my hair is doing weird and wondrous things, and it's driving me crazy. I'm just gonna have to wear a hat. Bah. Alrighty. I was just doing a little of book housekeeping. I was gonna update my Goodreads. Let's go to sharing the screen. Let's see if I can remember. Let's go to Goodreads. Make sure we're doing this okay. There we are. I'm just going to update my percentages. I am still reading Murder at Queen's Landing. I didn't read a whole lot last night. Page 180. Yeah, look at that. I read very little yesterday. Because it's back. What is doing static? Because right now I'm not hearing anything, so I wonder if it's something in my mic. Yesterday I thought it was the water pump thing because the sprinklers were running. But right now I don't hear anything. So I wonder if it's something in the microphone. If anybody else shows up, we'll have to check if they are hearing that too. I am sorry. I don't know what it could be right now. Is it overwhelming my voice or just sort of a background thing? I wonder if playing music would help. We'll have to think about that. But I didn't get a whole lot read last night because I always have to give Keo his second walk of the day right when we get home from work, which is about between 5:20 and 5:30, and it's July and it's hot, but he still wants to go, and so we go. And last night's walk was a little bit longer than I wanted to because he likes to do his business for a second time, and it took him longer to do it. And my feet were hurting so bad, and it was hot, and I was tired, and just a busy day, and I just didn't get a whole lot read. I did look at a lot of YouTubes, though. I was just staring at some of the booktubers out there, which also needed to be done and was enjoyable, but I didn't get a whole lot of reading done myself. I was also having some grand plans. I had talked to our receptionist about them, that doing this live channel is step one of what I want to be doing. The second step is to be finally doing some writing, except in the mornings when I have my most energy, I'm doing this. And in the evenings when my cup is full of being around people, I am kind of worn out, but that's the time to be doing my second projects. And I was thinking about, I'm hoping to do a live sprint this evening at 6 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, but I was talking about maybe doing it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday as some productivity time for me to be accountable. And last night I just couldn't do it. So definitely it's scheduled for tonight at 6 o'clock. Hope anybody who wants to do some reading sprints or productivity, creativity sprints will show up, but that is my plan. So I hope I hope. I want to get some stuff done. But so we were looking at some new releases for this week. We were on Monday. We looked at sort of the mystery / thrillers that were this week mostly psychological stuff. Yesterday we looked at some of the romantic stuff. Today this is the fantasy sci-fi stuff. And you can tell they're fantasy sci-fi stuff because there's a preponderance of purple and yellow. And of course a whole lot of black here too. Looking at these, I've heard some talk about the Jasad heir. The other ones I'm not as familiar with, so let's take a look. Be Sure. This is a combining of 3 books. The first 3 books in a children's series. Join the students of Eleanor West and jump through doors into worlds both dangerous and extraordinary. Book 1 is Every Heart a Doorway. Book 2, Down, excuse me, Among the Sticks and Bones. Book 3, Beneath the Sugar Sky. Children have always disappeared under the right conditions, slipping through the shadows under a bed or at the back of a wardrobe, tumbling down rabbit holes and into old wells and emerging somewhere else. But magical lands have little need for used-up miracle children. Meet Nancy, cast out of her world by the Lord of the Dead, Jack and Jill, each adopted by a monster of the moors, and Sumi and her impossible daughter, Rini. 3 worlds, 3 adventures, 3 sets of lives destined to intersect. Requests are what these children do best. Well, that sounds pretty cool. Oh, Shannon McGuire, sure. Very familiar with her. That's a very cool cover too. I like that. Immortal Longings, we looked at that one. That one was also under romance. By Chloe Gong, 384 pages. Oh yeah, this was that Hunger Games-ish one. Start of a new series or a standalone, can't tell from there. Jackal, Tales of the Dark and Fantastic by Toby Ogundiran. Short stories. I'm not really a big fan of short stories. Not really my cup of tea. And I apologize, that was my stomach grumbling. Having some coffee kicked it in. So, nope, not interested in short stories. The Deep Sky. Oh, good. Science fiction by Yumi Kitase. 416 pages. So kind of on the medium size for sci-fi. Is an enthralling sci-fi thriller debut about a mission into deep space that begins with a lethal explosion that leaves the survivors questioning the loyalty of the crew. They left Earth to save humanity. They'll have to save themselves first. That's a good tagline. It is the eve of Earth's environmental collapse. Already you kind of lost me. A single ship carries humanity's last hope. 80 elite graduates of a competitive program who will give birth to a generation of children in deep space. Okay, my mind went to, hey, you're elite, but we just want you to breed. But halfway to a distant but livable planet, a lethal bomb kills 3 of the crew and knocks the Phoenix off course. Asuka, the only surviving witness, is an immediate suspect. Asuka already felt like an imposter before the explosion. She was the last picked for the mission. She struggled during training back on Earth, and she was chosen to represent Japan, a country she only partly knows, as a half-Japanese girl raised in America. But estranged from her mother back home, the Phoenix is all she has left. With the crew turning on each other, Asuka is determined to find the culprit before they all lose faith in the mission, or worse, the bomber strikes again. It does sound interesting. And then somebody's response to that. That looks kind of cool. Deep Sky. Let's, that might be interesting. All right, The Jasad Heir. That one, again, I've heard things about. By Sarah Hashem. It is a fantasy, 400 pages. Again, kind of on the shorter side for a fantasy. In this Egyptian-inspired debut fantasy, a fugitive queen strikes a deadly bargain with her greatest enemy. No problem. No problem, Mary. Resurrect her scorched kingdom or leave it in ashes forever. Sorry, I'm going to take a copy, a little sip of coffee. 10 years ago, the kingdom of Jasad burned, its magic outlawed, its royal family murdered down to the last child. At least that's what Sylvia wants people to believe. The lost heir of Jasad, Sylvia never wants to be found. She can't think about how Nizal's armies laid waste to her kingdom and continue to hunt its people, not if she wants to stay alive. But when Aaron, the Nizal heir, tracks a group of Jasadi rebels to her village, staying one step ahead of death gets trickier. In a moment of anger, Sylvia's magic is exposed, capturing Aaron's attention. Now, to save her life, Sylvia will have to make a deal with her greatest enemy. If she helps him lure the rebels, she'll escape persecution. A deadly game begins. Sylvia can't let Aaron discover her identity, even as hatred shifts into something more. Soon, Sylvia will have to choose between the life she wants and the one she left behind. The Scorched Kingdom is rising, and it needs a queen. That sounds kind of cool. Debut. Probably a trilogy, if not more. That is something I would check out more. The Third Daughter, also out this week, by Adrian Tooley. Fantasy, young adult, 320 pages. It's a nice cover. For centuries, the citizens of Vel have waited for their new maiden to return, capital letters. The prophecy states she will appear as the third daughter of a third daughter, instead of seventh son of the seventh son. When the fabled child is finally born to Vel's reigning queen, all rejoice except for Elodie, the queen's eldest child, who has lost her claim to the crown. That would kind of suck for the first two kids. Of course, middle kids always get the short end, get the fuzzy end of the lollipop. The only way for Elodie to protect Vel is to retake the throne. To do so, she must debilitate the third daughter, her youngest sister, Brienne. Desperate, Elodie purchases a sleeping potion from Sabine, who sells sadness. But the apothecary mistakenly sends the princess away with a vial of tears instead of a harmless sleeping brew. Sabine's sadness is dangerously powerful, and Brienne slips into a slumber from which she will not wake. With the fates of their families and country hanging in the balance, Sabine and Elodie hurry to revive the third daughter, while a slow-burning attraction between the two girls erupts in full force. Some interesting elements, but not something I think I will be checking out further. Under This Forgetful Sky, also out this week, sci-fi young adult by Lauren Euro, 416 pages. This futuristic star-crossed love story follows two teens in a starkly unequal world struggling to find their place. 16-year-old, why are they always 16-year-old? Rumi Sabzwari has spent his entire life behind the armored walls of St. Iago, which protects citizens of the Union of Upper Cities from outside world's environmental devastation. Again, with environmental devastation. But when rebels infect his father with a fatal virus, Rumi escapes St. Iago, desperate to find a cure. In the ruined city of Paraiso, Rumi meets 15-year-old Paz, who agrees to guide him on his journey. As they travel together, Rumi finds himself drawn to Paz, and behind her tough exterior, she begins to feel the same way. But Paz knows more about Rumi's father's illness than she's saying, and has her own agenda. With the powerful forces at play in their cities putting them at odds, can the two learn to trust in each other enough to imagine a different world? That is a very pretty. Colors on this cover is very, very pretty. So those are the fantasy and sci-fi of this week. You can, not into horror. Let's take a look at straight fiction and see. Ooh, a whole bunch of yellow. Onlookers. That one I checked out. That is a beautiful cover, but I don't think it was something that I was interested in by Anika Scott. Set in 1933 Chicago's World Fair. Cool setting. I'm not as drawn to American settings in that time period as I am more UK and so forth. Vengeance is in the family, and the family is a bond like no other. Again, good tagline. Not bad. Look at that. Look at all that yellow on the covers this week. I'm going to close this down. That must be the new summery color. The Anniversary by Stephanie Bishop is a simmering page-turner about an ascendant writer, the unsolved death of her husband, and what it takes to emerge on her own. Why isn't this under mystery? Novelist J.B. Blackwood is on a cruise with her husband, Patrick, to celebrate their wedding anniversary. Her former professor, film director, and cult figure. Oh, she married her professor. Patrick is much older than J.B. When they met, he seemed somehow ageless, as all gods appear in the eyes of those who worship them. But now his success is starting to wane, and J.B. is on the cusp of winning a major literary prize. Her art has been forever overseen by him. Now it may overshadow his. For days they sail in the sun, nothing but dark water all around them. Then a storm hits, and Patrick falls from the ship. J.B. is left alone as the search for what happened to Patrick and the truth about their marriage begins. Propulsive and fiercely intelligent, The Anniversary is exquisitely written with a swift and addictive plot. It's a novel that asks, how legible in the mind of the writer is the line between reality and plot? How do we refuse the people we desire? And what is the cost to ourselves, to others, and to our art if we don't? I'm wondering why this was put under fiction. This is more like a thriller. The Anniversary. That sounds kind of interesting. Oh, that bookmarks it. Cool. Oh, and that puts it right to where I was wanting to go. Oh, it's only listed under paperback. Not even out on Kindle? That's kind of weird. That's it. It's only paperback, not Kindle. Sure, the one I'm interested in. And no sample or anything. I think all books need a sample. We're going to go into Goodreads here. And it's only showing this one book. Oh, it's also showing it came out in March, so why is it... Huh. Oh, there's... Oh, it came out in Australia initially. Okay. Interesting. But it should come out in Kindle, so more people will... Well, I hope I hope it gets some wider publication. Yeah. Very interesting. All right. We'll go back there. I also wanted to go to, let's see, where are we at? We are on Goodreads. Let's go from there. And I also wanted to do a quick check before we go. We got about 5 more minutes left before I'll be signing off, because then I have to head to work. Oh yeah, I also wanted to do that. Let's do this. All right. I was looking at some books yesterday, and I came across this opening couple paragraphs that sounded interesting. Sometimes in life, you have only bad options, like planning to commit corporate espionage in the morning, becoming a whistleblower by noon, and trying not to be murdered by midnight. I thought that was cool. That caught my attention. So that one is actually, I think that one is actually from not Resolve. It is, but I did get that book. But the thing I wanted to also get to was, if you are looking at new releases, Fresh Fiction also does books of the week, and they are a little bit more comprehensive, but they are also so comprehensive. Sometimes they are not necessarily new books of the week, but this is also a source to be looking for. They also cover some of the cozy stuffs that but you kind of have to be careful of the release dates, because sometimes they're not accurate. Sometimes they are re-releases and things like that. But hang on a second. We've got historical mystery, Death at the Manor, by Catherine Shellman. Look how that's spelled. That's different. The tortured spirits of the dead haunt a Regency era, got my attention, Regency English manor. But the true danger lies in the land of the living, in the third installment, so third of a series. I thought it looked familiar, but I haven't read it. In the Lily Adler Mysteries, perfect for fans of Deanna Rayburn. That also gets my attention. But which series are they referring to? Are they referring to Veronica Speedwell? Or the other one? Regency widow Lily Adler is looking forward to spending the autumn away from the social whirl of London. When she arrives in Hampshire with her friends, the Carraways, she doesn't expect much more than a quiet country visit and the chance to spend time with her charming new acquaintance, Matthew Spencer. But something odd is afoot in a small country village, as there always is. So that sounds kind of interesting. We'll have to look at this one tomorrow. Another sci-fi. That looks good. Science fiction dystopian, but that's kind of a cool cover. That looks like something you'd hang up on your wall. Mystery historical. Lindsay Davis, so that's going to be Roman. I've got to read that one too, man. I have so much to read. I've got a minute left, so I'm just going to wrap up here. I got to grab my stuff, grab my dog, and head to work. But I appreciate those who have tuned in. Let me know if this is something that you are interested in. I know it's early, but this is something I think would be something that you can tune in on a coffee break, whether it's at 6 in the morning like it is here in Montana, or later in the day. But also want to say, if you do like this, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, and just a reminder, tonight I'm going to be doing some live reading sprints at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8 Eastern, And if you want to come do some reading or do some creative things, productive things, whatever you like there. But I hope you can join me doing that. But otherwise, it is Wednesday, July 19th. I hope you have a beautiful day. And to quote, I think it was Faulkner who said, read, read, read. I'll see you guys later tonight. Bye-bye.